first thing she said, so we scheduled a meeting. She walks in and I'm like, floor's yours. And she says, you are the most decisive person I've ever worked with. And I took a minute of like,
that sounds like that might be bad.
Good or bad? Like, she's like, no, it's wonderful, right? She's like, I love it. We don't have enough people in the corporate world that are just kind of making decisions and going, right? Everybody wants to get the committee. Nobody wants to make a decision and be wrong. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Account Management, a tactical guide to success. Fred Fuller here with my compadre, my good friend, my counterpart, the co-host, the Hooded Falcon, John Brown.
We keep going with the Hooded Falcon. It's a pleasure to see you, Fred. How are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good, yeah.
I'm still working on your nickname. I've convened a team to workshop it.
If I'm being honest, my day's been a little bit tough.
Oh, why? What's the matter?
Well, it started with a burnt Pop-Tart. Do you eat Pop-Tarts?
I do not, but I would like to. Should I start?
You would like to. You know where they sell them at stores.
What kind of stores?
You don't need a special ID or nothing.
Oh, I thought
you just go buy them.
I needed like a passport or maybe a notarized letter.
Maybe from your mom. I don't know.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know, man, but it was burnt, and that like set the tone for the day.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
The only thing worse than that. Getting a B+. You have to listen to our last episode to get that one, but it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was solid. Okay.
More callback.
Yeah, that is okay. More callback. I'm sorry to hear about the Pop-Tart, Fred. Well, let's just try to soldier.
It was blueberry, if you want to know.
That was going to be my next question. Did it have frosting? Let's just soldier through and let's try to get through this in some sort of organized fashion.
My God. Unfrosted Pop-Tarts?
No, that's a nightmare.
What maniac are you?
No, you're an axe murderer.
Good
unfrosted.
All right, let's get to
That's the kind of person who eats kale.
Ugh. All right.
All right.
Here we are at Podium Studios, folks, and we came here to talk to you about a little more than Pop-Tarts, but this is a really fun topic. So what are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about DISC. So DISC profiles.
Yep.
And what that means and how you can use it as an account manager. That's what we're gonna talk about today, Fred, and Pop-Tarts.
We're gonna tie this together. Actually, we're gonna put a little bow on this thing at the end. That's gonna make everybody go, "That's magic."
Wow, that was magical.
Magic.
I don't know how we're gonna get there, but we'll think of it.
We have a long time.
Okay, let's go.
Long way to go and a short time to get there. Okay. All right. DISC. So, I actually love this topic. Because I love the whole idea that like we are all different people, and why don't we recognize that? And I think understand that better just as a human species, quite frankly. With account management and sales, some of this DISC sort of personality training or categorization, whatever the correct nomenclature is, it can feel a little bit synthetic, right? It can feel a cliche, right?
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about, so just to outline it, DISC is essentially sort of a way to, it's a framework for how you act with others. And so there's several different types of these frameworks. We'll just briefly touch on what all of them are and kind of what they do. But if you're not familiar with DISC, what I would encourage you to do right now is press pause on the podcast button. Unless you're in your car, don't do anything unsafe. Like let's say you're at your desk, you can press pause. And actually, there are free tests available online where you can go take your DISC profile. Just Google DISC, and you can find out what you are, and that'll actually help you kind of unlock what it is. But anyway, there are several. So the main advice that we're going to start with here is, as an account management team and company, and as an account manager, you should pick a framework to use to a heuristic, if you will.
I like that. I like that.
For categorizing people. That is helpful to you as an account manager for when you have to go present to them.
And when you categorize people, is it like like lazy and no, that's not what we're doing.
Tall, short,
yeah, tall, short,
loud, quiet.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny though, because the words and the way that you think about these things, it is labels, but it's not labeling. There's not a negative.
No, there's nothing
thing,
negative.
right?
Yeah,
It just is 100%. Like we're different people. We act
yeah.
different,
It's just difference, and all of those differences come with things that are helpful to you in certain situations, and things that maybe are less helpful to you in other situations. But it's not. It's difference without judgment.
Man, you are on a roll right now. Heuristics, difference without judgment, frosted Pop-Tarts. It's a different level. Okay, so when we break these down, John, you mentioned that there's a whole bunch of kind of different frameworks, if you will, right?
So what we'll start with is DISC is the one that we're going to recommend to you as an account manager that you use in the frame of when you're going to go present to somebody, or when you have to go convince somebody of something, which is something you do all the time as an account manager, right?
Yep.
When you have to sell an idea. There's some reasons why. For the kind of advantages of DISC are it's simple, it's memorable, it's practical. Disadvantages, it's not super scientific. It doesn't have tons of scientific validity. But it was invented by, I'm not going to go through the history of DISC, it was invented by this kind of psychologist back in the 1940s, and he was trying to think of a way to categorize people's personalities. But it is kind of a useful framework, so that's the one that we're going to go with, and we'll talk about how it works here in a second. But there's some others. Myers-Briggs is another famous one that was inspired by Carl Jung. The advantage is a little more complete. It's a lot more detailed. It's more widely known. The problem is it doesn't repeat very well, so it's a little bit less scientific. The categories are kind of rigid, and also it's kind of complicated. Like it has 4 different factors, and there's 2 it's either this or this in each factor. So it's either introverted, extroverted, sensing versus intuitive, judging, thinking versus feeling, judging versus. It's just kind of 8 things, kind of complicated. So for you as an account manager, it's like just a bit much. Anyway, there's other ones. One that I actually use a lot that I think has tons of validity when you're thinking about hiring people, or as a manager, if you're thinking about moving people, how you're going to deploy your people into different roles, is one called StrengthsFinder. So this is actually one that actually I highly, highly recommend. You can take the test online. And it's actually really based on a lot of scientific research. It's actually a big regression study that actually outlines people's talents more than anything. So like, are you good at winning other people over? Are you good at intellection? Are you good at strategy? Like sort of a talent. And again, there's like 30 different things, too complicated for an account manager just trying to figure out, okay, how do I present to this person, right? So,
and I know that there's others, right? We probably could do
there's another one.
But just as a general notion, like I've done DISC, Myers-Briggs, and StrengthsFinders, and I find DISC to be the most kind of practical. In application. Right. To your point, if you want to do the StrengthsFinders thing to figure out more about where you should be and who you are, what your strengths are, what your talents are, then maybe that's the one that you should do. But just as a general observation in terms of thinking about who you are, but also thinking about the people that you interact with, right? That it would then drive and indicate how you interact with others. So for me, DISC is the one that just is the most easy to consume, right?
DISC is how you act with others. There's some other tests out there. There's one called Ocean, which is called the Big Five. I don't see that as much in business. There's another one called Herman Brain Dominance, which is like more how people think. So, there's different tests for kind of different things. Again, as an account manager, you kind of need to pick a framework that will just sort of work for the purpose that you have, which is, and this is where we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about the DISC types, and then we're going to talk about some celebrities, and we're going to guess what their DISC profile is. So that's going to be good times right there.
So John, we've been working together for a few minutes. And I don't know that I've ever told you this, but it's time.
Okay.
I can't hide it anymore.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not a good test taker. I'm really not. So I get nervous when you say like, oh, and you're going to quiz me, like, okay. do we gotta? No, I love a test.
It's not really a test because like we're going to be just making it up. It's not really a test, I guess. Does that make you feel better?
Definitely. Okay, good.
Do you need a hug?
I probably need a minute just to get a count.
Okay.
And breathe.
So to review,
okay.
The summary is DISC is kind of how you act with others. Myers-Briggs is sort of how you see the world. It's like more how you process the information in the world. StrengthsFinder is kind of what you're naturally good at. There's the big five, like I said, Herman brain dominance. But like those first three are the ones that are, I think, ones you see more common in business. So that's what they are. Anyway, here's the important part. Let's talk about what DISC is.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So DISC basically has 4 distinct profiles. So, and actually it's easy to remember because the 4 profiles are DISC. That's where the DISC comes from.
Okay. All right. It's
if I gave you a test later and I said, what are the 4 types of, are you going to be able to pass that? Anyway.
So far, so good.
So the first, I'll start with D. And a lot of the adjectives for this person are D adjectives. So direct, decisive, results-oriented, daring, determined, fast-paced. So sort of the summary on that person is bold trailblazers who like control and results. Does that sound familiar? Skip that. The next type is the I.
This is why I didn't want to do this episode.
Oh, why?
Because you're going to have your scalpel out and you're going to do the lobotomy
in your
and
brain.
you're going to be in my brain, man. And that's a problem.
Yeah, there's a big echo in there.
Whoa.
Oh. Okay. That was a cheap shot. I apologize. But you kind of just you teed it up there for. We actually got a laugh out of the producer on that one, like that. So I'm gonna go with that was actually good.
It's late and I haven't had dinner.
Do we need to pause for snacks?
Pause for snacks. An orange wedge, and then I get back in the pool.
Okay.
All right, DISC. So D, decisive
driver. Driver is kind of the word. The next one is I, and it kind of stands for influencer. Is typically the word you use there. So charming, collaborative, energizing, trusting, enthusiastic, impulsive, optimistic, persuasive, outgoing. Somebody who thrives on influence and connection. That's the influencer type. So that's the I in DISC. The next one is S for typically called steadiness. So it'd be somebody who's calm, patient, predictable, deliberate, stable, warm. So loyal, supportive personality. So you could say steady or supportive would be the S type.
Okay, I can toss that one out for me.
Yeah. I think we know.
I think
we know that already.
I think I'm supportive, but patient.
This is the point of this isn't to rate yourself on each of these various dimensions.
I like where it's going, though. I like where it's going. Okay, and then that takes us to C.
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 So there's probably this one is conscientiousness is typically the word that's used most often for this one. But cautious, systematic, private, objective, analytical, diplomatic, accurate, reserved, detail-oriented, analytical, careful, precise thinkers. Right. So conscientiousness, and so conscientiousness is not like a great word for this because it's kind of. This one kind of mushes a bunch of things together, but and so with a framework that simple, those sort of 4 things, it's pretty obvious that really doesn't capture the complexity of any one human at all, right?
Right.
And so what we're suggesting here, though, is try to put somebody into at least 2 of these categories, if not one, with the notion of how are you going to present to them. That's what we're trying to get at, right? Like, but if you ever go take the test, don't think this is like the entire sum total of your existence and who you are. That's preposterous.
To me, this is far less about, as an account manager, this is far less about who you are and what the results tell you about you, and opening your mind to everybody's different, and you need to think about that. Like we
You need to think about them.
You need to think about them. We tailor our resume for a different job, right? If I'm going for this job, if I did this one, I'll tweak it a little bit and da. But when we deal with people, like you don't see people think about that or talk about it, consider it, right?
That's actually a really good analogy. See, it's not empty in there. That was a joke, and I apologize again. Look,
I'm gonna, man.
that space is full of blueberry Pop-Tarts.
I need a bagel. I can
tell.
I need some
that
food.
It's full of blueberry
I'm
Pop-Tarts.
so tired. Nobody wants to hear this.
Okay. Wait, I kind of got to laugh.
We're not punchy. We're late.
All right. So here's part 2 of this episode.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss our disc profiles, you and I.
Okay.
Which are not that. Do you want to go first? I would like to hear yours. What is it?
I'll be happy to go first. I will start. My disc profile is heavy DI, and so what I like is
it kind of in between the two, or
I think it's like 1.A D than I, right? Like so, it's like what I like is there's a physical presentation of this that is a circle with the quadrants, right?
Yeah,
and then the D and the I are on top.
D and I are on top,
S and the C
are on, and I is opposite from the S, and D is opposite from the
C.
C.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's every bit of.
I might have that. Did I get that backwards?
DISC. No, I think that's right.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
We're going to go with it.
All right.
If it's wrong, please go to our website and let John know.
Okay, good.
Can we do that?
Get the feedback that way.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's no doubt about the DI thing. I think what's interesting is I took this disc training, I don't know, 15 years ago. Prior to that, I did the Myers-Briggs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done many of these things. And when I land on the DI, I'm like, yeah, I get it, right? Like I am kind of I'm definitely the D of go.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a driver. Mm-hmm.
I hired somebody, actually she was internal. I moved her into a new position and we were traveling and she was kind of doing the wingman thing and we were working together just so she could see how I work and interact and what my focus is, et cetera. And so we were traveling, we worked together for a week, like kind of nonstop, but it was not just us. It was all kinds of other clients and people, account managers, so forth. And at the end, she said, hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to take 30 minutes and do kind of a debrief on what I've experienced and so forth and what I think will be important for me to be successful in this role. And I was like, great, right? Like, absolutely. And the first thing she said, so we scheduled a meeting, she walks in and I'm like, floor is yours. And she says, you are the most decisive person I've ever worked with. And I took a minute of like,
that sounds like that might be bad.
Good or bad? Like she's like, no, it's wonderful. Right? She's like, I love it. We don't have enough people in the corporate world that are just kind of making decisions and going, right? Everybody wants to get the committee. Nobody wants to make a decision and be wrong.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, you're willing to be wrong.
Put my name on that.
That is a very D trait. I am willing to be wrong.
I don't care.
Right.
But I'm not. It's the thing, right? Foxhole to foxhole, right?
Yeah.
Like that is me.
Well, spell out what you mean by that.
So we had an old coworker of ours. He's actually a client, really wonderful individual, very accomplished person. And he said one time he's working at a big bank and he said, look, if I get shot, it's going to be going from foxhole to foxhole. I'm not going to lay there and wait for somebody to come up and get me.
Right.
And what he was talking about was he's endorsing and rolling out products to make that organization better. And they may be wrong.
He might be a little bit wrong. Right.
But he's okay with that. He understands what that outcome will be. And so it's a funny thing when you hear it and you test and you like that kind of thing. But when somebody stands in front of you and she was like, and I asked her, I'm like, it feels like that good or bad? And she was like, it's wonderful. She said, but what the bad thing is, I will never come to you to like chew on something. And I was like, well, you can, you just have to tell me.
Yeah.
I don't need a decision. I want to chew on it.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. I work with a lot of high Ds and I'll say, can I just pick your brain a little bit? Like I set the context of, because otherwise, what you'll get is what you need to be doing is this. Like, and it's like, okay, that's not quite what I wanted, but yeah. No, you're right. That's a very high D trait of, sort of like you're not here to like have a big old chit chat and kick stuff around, right? Like,
go.
Yeah.
Like it is who I am, and I would have argued that. I would have said D. I like to maybe I push things a little bit, right? Influencer, maybe. I belong solely in the top of that circle. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I tell you, on the other side of that, and I'm going to hear where you landed on this. I had a person in a previous job that worked for me that needed to understand everything out to like the 5th decimal place before he could do anything. And so every email was greeted with a response of like 50 follow-up questions. Right?
And hi, D, and you loved that. You were very excited to answer each one of those individual 50 questions individually.
He worked for me. And so I think he did that once. And I was like, yep, go, you tell me, go get the answers. Like, I don't know, go talk to somebody else. Like, the point being, I was okay with it because I literally, you reflect on this training and you're like, okay, I get it. Now, my conversation with him was, here's what you need to understand. This will impact your ability to grow within the organization because people say you can't think strategically.
Yeah.
Right? It's not good or bad, but it is aligned with who you are, what you're capable of, and where you're going to be in an organization, where you're going to be successful, right? So a DI is not a CFO typically. Right? Like
it depends. Yeah. It depends.
They need that. They need some of that bottom quadrant, right? Some of that bottom half, I guess, is the right way to say it. But anyway, so what's yours? What's your?
Mine is high I and pretty much all I. I get now probably at work I lean a little bit more into the D because I've just learned to be that way over the years. I would say most executives are a D or an I of some sort. I get a lot of people who say to me when we start this, they think I'm a C, but I think that's a function of again more learned behavior because of what I do for a living. But like if I didn't, I probably would never twist someone's arm for a deadline. Like high Ds tend to do if I hadn't learned how to do that over time. And I probably would not be like a super detailed kind of operations leader if, again, I hadn't learned how to do that over time, right? Like because I had to. But like if I had my druthers, I wouldn't do those things.
Do you? That's really interesting. So you ranked highest in
influencing.
In influencing. Did you have like a close second or
no?
Because with your background, right, your degree in physics and education in nuclear engineering, it just feels like there's a level of detail that you have to have. What I remember,
I'm good at math, but like I don't. There's a reason I didn't do that for forever. It's because like I don't think it's my natural spike.
But that's just nuts. Like I know what that Navy nuclear engineering program is. I know that the attrition rate of that thing is 80%.
I don't know it's that high, but it's pretty high.
It's really high. Yeah. Like you're going to downplay this crap because that's what you do, and you're going to make me angry. And I'm going to start thinking about the Pop-Tart, and we're going to go all the way back.
Pop-Tarts in here.
Get some Pop-Tarts in here right now before this guy loses his mind. So I just think with that level of achievement academically and specifically in math, it just shocks me that you didn't. A lot of CEO, what I remember from the training is a lot of CEOs actually rate pretty evenly across the all four.
Yeah, that could be true.
So that's why I'm wondering, do you actually rate pretty highly in like 3 of the 4?
Nah, well, maybe by sort of, what I have to do all day. So like, again, learned behavior, but I'm pretty high I. Like if I can just do that, I would, right?
Yeah.
My father was a teacher, and I tend to approach a lot of kind of work things a little bit like that as well. Right. So I'm always trying to grow and develop people and that kind of stuff. And so it's all high I, influencing, like, if you bring to me some sort of book about, some business thing that I'm interested in, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to tell everybody about it. And, it's, So like, high I.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go. Okay. Well, but like, I think for both of us, that's sort of your subtype. and you're definitely a very influential person, and you have a ton of leadership qualities. Can't believe I just let's move on. But that is that DI,
Devin,
combination.
I need a new business partner, man. I just need somebody that's really going to say things and mean them.
But where am I going with that? That stuff is like, just that's really common for sort of business leadership, and you have those things. So anyway, but where I was going with that is like, this podcast is high I all the way, right? Like, and the fact that we read a book, right? Like that's all high I sort of stuff, right? And so that's why we're here and why we're doing this. Yeah, think about that, right?
Yeah, I don't think about it in that context. I was talking to somebody not long ago, and I was talking just randomly, and I'd made the comment that I actually haven't put a lot of like personal development time into my career, like going out and getting other certifications or investing in certain things. And I was telling him about, I wrote a book and did the podcast, and he was like, "Wait a minute, but I thought you like didn't invest in your kind of professional development." And I'm like, I don't feel that's investing in my profession.
Because it's natural.
And he was like, you couldn't be more wrong. Like, that is totally what that is.
Everybody thinks investment is like, I'm going to do something that's like hard. Let's talk about how you pitch these people.
All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Why don't we start with C, our conscientious?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. And like, so this is why you need to know this as an account manager. Is like, you kind of, when you go present to someone, we'll kind of talk about it in terms of formal presentations, but I would argue all this stuff matters. Even if you just like say 3 sentences to them, you ought to think about this a little bit. But like if you have a client, you ought to give some thought to which of these categories they're in and then tailor your presentation to that. So let's start with C. Conscientiousness. That's going to be facts, details, and data. It's going to be minimal emotion, patience, persistence, diplomacy. I would, if I were creating a deck for this person, like a PowerPoint deck, and I'm going to have to go pitch an idea, I would probably have a big appendix full of all the data questions that might come up. I would do all the things you normally should do. And we've talked about this in other podcasts, make it relatively brief, have a synthesis, have it start with a point of view. But I would probably have a pretty big appendix with kind of anything else that they could think of to ask.
Enjoying the podcast but want to learn more best practices for account management? Pick up a copy of A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management, available at Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about this, I'm always thinking, read the room. Like, read the room. Like, that's such a part of this, right? That's really what we're talking about.
Real time, I've pitched to people before and sort of realized they are in a category that's different than me, and changed what I've been doing. Let's skip these next 5 slides and go into, I've done that plenty of times.
So I like a joke. I like to come into a meeting and provide a little bit of levity, just a little bit.
Right, to start.
And that is my read the room moment. Like when I come into a meeting, if I have a little joke and it doesn't land, I'm like,
nope.
Right? Like,
readjust.
Yeah. So that's a part of this.
Yeah. The next one is high D. So this is basically pitching to you or someone like you.
Yeah.
Oh, was that out loud? So start with bottom line up front. We talked about that a lot before. Right? Bottom line up front. Like, get to the thing. Don't waste a bunch of time. This is where being a really great storyteller and you're going to build up to the conclusion over 45 minutes. No. Start with the conclusion. Like, why are we here?
Yep.
We're here because I am telling you, you need to do this, or I'm here to sell you this, like bottom line up front. Brevity, avoid generalizations, solutions and action focus, right? So the bottom line up front, the bottom line is probably a course of action. It's not just I'm telling you something. It's probably like, we are going to do this and here is why. Not here's all the why, and let me. So I'm going to start with a story. I got up this morning, I burned a Pop-Tart, and then this happened, and then that happened. No, you're going to start. You're going to end with, or you're going to be course of action. We're going to dinner, and I'm hungry. Why is that? Because I didn't get my Pop-Tart. See what I did there? See what I did there?
It comes back to the Pop-Tart. Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime we can create a theme, man, I'm so happy right now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
So, here's the final one. This one: be prepared to show some backbone, like when you get challenged, right? And they say, no, I don't think that's right. Because that's a high D move right there.
Yeah.
And it's always, not being in that category, it's always blown me up as a business person over the years. Like I'll get challenged and I'll be like, oh, okay. And over the years, I've sort of, now I'm different.
Yeah,
I've gotten older.
I've been in a couple chunky meetings with you, and you held your own just fine.
Yeah. Well, as I've gotten older, I'm a little bit different now. I'm more willing to sort of say, no, I stand by my point, and you can jump in a lake. But that's that's how to approach that high D.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think about what that means, right? When you look at either of these, and even as we look at the next two, what we're really talking about here is how it's the positioning of the information. It's not going to be it's not a totally different presentation. Right?
No, it might just be reordering.
It's all it is, right?
Yeah.
With the D, I'm going to come in and say, hey, we're having this meeting because you wanted to learn more about X. I've got my people here and we're going to take the time to talk about this. Like, is that right? Do you need anything else? Is that what you had in mind? Blah, blah, blah. All that is taken care of, as we talked about long before the meeting, and your coordination with them, et cetera, et cetera. But I am very much like, tell me what you need me to know. And then if you're going to go into all the detail and supporting information, if I want that, I'll check in, and if not, I'm going to check out. But if you go into all that detail first with me, I'm back at the Acme hardware store buying anvils for the Wile E. Coyote. Do you know what I mean?
No, actually, 100%. With a high D, I've done this before. Here's a good trick: is like, hey, well, let me just start with kind of where we're headed. We want to do this, this, and this. If you agree, this can be a pretty short meeting. Right. And man, a high D is going to love you when you cut 30 minutes off the meeting and they're going to be like, oh yes, this person gets it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They love that. They absolutely love it. Who doesn't like getting time back in their day?
Well, everybody likes that.
Right.
But but if you did the same thing to a high S, this person kind of seems like a jerk.
Yeah. That's why you tailor it.
Right? That's right.
You can give the S time back as well if you
can give time back,
right?
but maybe you just approach it a little bit differently.
You're hitting a different information up top or up front, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how do you pitch an S then?
So personal and amiable, right? So like try to build up that relationship first. So instead of jumping right into the meat of the thing, like you actually might spend some time doing some relationship building. Like, hey, how was your weekend? Let's talk about what's going on with your kids, like all those things we talked about in a bunch of other podcasts. But you might, over-index on that with an S. Ask them questions, express interest in them, and building trust, right? So we talked about that a ton. Even, high Ds like that. So we're not saying completely in these other situations, excise this out of your, mental Rolodex of things to do. It's just kind of more what you emphasize, right? Like you said a minute ago, I can tell a joke at the beginning of the meeting, and then I know from there which way to go with it, right? Like with a high S, clarification and details. High S, emphasizing collaboration. Hey, when we do this together, or let's work together. We are going to bring a team. They're all great people. They're going to work really well with your people. Emphasizing teamwork. Right.
Yeah.
With a high S, like we're gonna collaborate and get along.
You can get really nuanced in this stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So when I think about that personality bucket, is that right? Is that the right word? Bucket.
It's just the way you said it. It was like those people.
Bucket. Thems. Using somebody's name. The power of referring to somebody by their name. Like, hey, Jennifer, that's a really good point. We talked about this yesterday. Blah blah. Like.
Yeah,
it's magic to some people.
Yeah, and just because you're a high D, like you actually are really good at this. Like you're really great at building rapport with people. But I think that comes from you being a high D. Like to do it, and you're going to drive to get that done. Like you're checking it. You're doing a thing, right? Like that's where it comes from you. But you're really great at working with people who are like this. So it's not these things aren't all mutually exclusive from each other. It's like what things in the toolkit are you gonna bring to it, right?
100%. And I have there's a whole podcast that we could do, and there's a blog that I've thought about writing around names. And so this is a little bit of a diversion, but I'll share it, which is, and this will sound corny, but when you go to Kroger or wherever and you walk up and somebody's got the name tag on.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever looked at them and said like, "Hey Kyle, how's your day going?"
Yeah.
And the response, I'll share with you my experience. Typically, you kind of get this like eat dirt kind of like you're
right.
picking at me. But if you take a moment to say, no, really, like have you guys been busy and like really,
ask a second question, right? Yeah,
and show an interest when you use their name. Like you think you just handed them a $50 tip. They just want to know that people.
Yeah, you see them as a human.
Total social experiment. Like I literally, anybody listen to this podcast, the next, when you go out tomorrow and go to the grocery store or go to the coffee shop or wherever, take a time to read somebody's name tag, read
and
that.
Ask them about their work. Like,
specifically,
how's it going today?
Use their name.
Or what? Like ask something that's like, I'm actually trying to understand your world a little bit.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what this reminds me of? So every Veterans Day, I take people in my company who are veterans to lunch.
Yeah.
And then I usually write a little note for the company. I'm like, hey, something about Veterans Day. What I tell people all the time is like the sort of thing that's developed in the past, call it 15 years, people say thank you for your service is a little bit kind of closing a door. Instead, what I tell people to do is like actually just ask the former service member about their work like you would any other workplace.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, well, where did you serve and what did you do? And what was that like? And did you like it? And, how did you feel about it? Like, and if you met any other professional person, like a dentist, those are the kind of questions you would ask.
Where'd you go to school?
Like, how does that all work? Just ask some questions, right? Like show an interest. Like, thank you for your service is the end of that conversation. It's like awkward. Okay. Yeah. Well,
I think the number one question you start with when you're talking to a veteran and you understand that they were in the service, you say, were you enlisted or were you an officer?
Oh my God. All
right. And if they were officers, like, do you know they didn't do any work?
All right. Moving on to the next part of the podcast.
Okay. All right. S. No, did we do S? We just did S.
I. No, I.
I. Let's talk about
all right. So we talked about C, D, S. Now it's I, influencer. The pitch, sharing experiences. This is where storytelling can work. You want to have some level of brevity, but if you're selling an idea, telling a story around that sometimes can be more impactful than data with an I, or just as impactful. So if you pair data and also tell a unique story that is illustrative, this can be really powerful. This kind of person asking questions, allowing them to talk. Right. So they may start to engage and kind of just go on and they want to be charming and they're going to tell jokes and all of that. Great. Let them do it. Focusing on the positive, maybe a little bit lighter on the detail, just like with the D. Right.
Yep.
Not interrupting and building trust. So that's how you pitch the high I. So now we're going to get to the fun part of the podcast.
This is the part I'm going to fail. This is where I'm going to get a B+ and I'm going to be so angry about it.
All right. Well, we'll trade off.
Okay, let's do that.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna name some. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some celebrities, and we're gonna guess what we think their disc profile is, and maybe a little bit about how we would pitch them. This is important because, like, the reality is, your client, you're not going to be able to slide the disc profile test across the table to them and say, "Take this before I start talking to you."
Yep.
That's not going to happen.
That is not going to happen.
So therefore, you kind of need to get good at guessing about this. So we're going to use celebrities as a proxy, people that everybody knows about. Celebrities and politicians, and we'll try to just stick to, sort of the well-known elements of their personality, right? But just we're picking people that are really well-known because that way you, the home listener, can guess as well.
Okay.
All right. You can tell us if we're wrong. But there's really no way to know. Like we're sort of guessing.
Yeah, but you could go do
a wrong answer.
You could do
a
test search or a Google or whatever.
Yeah, right? but even that would be a guess because nobody knows. Like these people didn't hand out their tests when they shook hands.
So the cool thing about this is like literally go do this yourself, right? Like go download a list of names or punch up 20 of the next,
or do it to your friends.
Yeah.
What do you think this person is?
Right.
Make a guess.
Yeah.
Accurate there. All right.
So that's an easy way to apply it. So we'll start. So at the top of the list that you provided, which I think this whole thing is a sham now, but we're going to start with the number one name on the list, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to go first on this one because I have an opinion on this one, and I don't have an opinion on the other 47 on the list. So what I have, I'm going to say that Steve Jobs has to be a D.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Like just 100%, like all
Totally.
in, get it done yesterday. Right.
Yeah. 100%. And, so you would pitch him with, you would come in with, here's the thing, we're doing this. We're starting with the end in mind, the bottom line up front. Steve, we want to build this new product. It's called an iPerson. It's a human replicant. I don't know.
Faster horses. Yeah.
Faster horses. Yeah. Right. All right. Here's another, this is a weird, it's meant to be a weird mix of celebrities just to guess. So here's the next one. Emma Watson of Harry Potter fame.
I'm thinking she's on the, I always go top half, bottom half. So again, DI up top, SC down below. SC down below. And I always, so I think of her, she's pursuing like a graduate degree or like she's a higher education
don't speculate, Fred. Just tell us.
I'm going to put her in the SC grouping. I'm going to put her in the bottom.
Yeah. Which one though?
Steady.
Yeah. That's a good guess. I guess C. I think conscientiousness sort of, maybe I'm conflating her character, Hermione, that kind of conscientious. Certainly the character I think would be C. So I'm kind of guessing about the celebrity a little bit there. All right. But that's our guess.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think you're right. You're on track so far.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
All right. Next one.
All right. This is yours. Or no, what? Oh, Oprah Winfrey.
What's your guess?
I am going to go with.
I know this one.
Well, she's an I, right? She's got to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Through.
1,000%. Yeah. I tried to throw in a few in here that we think are easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a high I. I think if you look up on the internet, everybody kind of guesses that. I mean, just everything about her. She's incredibly influential. I mean, just tastemaker, hugely influential human being. Like, I just don't think anybody could argue that. Right. Yeah. So, very impressive.
Now, I love the next one that you have on the list here.
Yes. So, Fred, tell us, what do you think Mr. Rogers is?
Fred Rogers.
Right.
He has to be, I'm going to put him in the, you think he's an S?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That steadiness, like, he's a friend, warm personality,
comfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it true that he was like military, like Green Beret or something? Like I don't know if that was a rumor or not, man.
Yeah, that sounds like a rumor. I think now you're just making things up.
Okay, well, you start talking about Bill Gates while I go confirm this rumor.
All right, you're going to search that on the internet?
Yeah.
All right. The next one is Bill Gates. What's your guess there? I'll start on that one. I'll make it. I'm pretty sure he's a high C. That conscientiousness, data-driven, factual, detailed, like that. Actually, when I talk about the high C, and I have to present to them, and I'm going to make a deck, and it has a giant appendix. That's literally who I think of is Bill Gates. Like, what if I had to go present to Bill Gates? And so that's. Are you really looking up?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Yeah, hey, he wasn't. He was deemed unqualified for service after registering for the 48 draft.
Let's keep going through our list and not focus.
Well, I think that's important because I need to know, like, if a Green Beret has infiltrated my mind. That's what.
All right, this next one's going to be easy. Okay. This one's going to be easy, Fred. So all right,
yeah.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, she's a pussycat, right? Like this guy's all about just calm and mellow.
No, I think you're thinking of.
Paula Deen?
Not Gordon Ramsay? All right, Gordon Ramsay, seriously. What do you think?
Is he the cook guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a D, right?
High D.
He's a
super
maniac.
D.
Yeah.
Just like all Ds. High Ds. Oh, is that out loud?
Good looking.
No.
Rico Suave.
All right, let's here's another easy one for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Am I talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
Or am I talking about Ollie? It's two different things,
just
right?
really the person. I'm trying to put him in a particular role.
I thought we were talking.
See, I knew this was going to go. I knew this was going to go wrong.
Okay, man. I honestly, I think Will Smith. I would put him in the eye. I would put him in an influencer.
Yeah, charming,
charismatic. Figured out a way to get into music, movies.
Yeah,
you gotta be,
just
be a
very
bit of a
influential,
charmer.
right? Yeah. So, okay. So,
are there any on the list? I'm gonna jump around a little bit, and I'm gonna put you in the hot seat now.
Okay, what you got here?
Since I've done so well.
No, you've done great.
Musk. Where do you put him? High D.
Mm-hmm.
But does he have a high D with a S and a C component, or is he?
Well, it goes back to what we said a minute ago. Is like
just what's the dominant?
It's what's the dominant, and then also like none of these things is a 100% accurate description of your behavior 100% of the time, right? And so it's more what how you relate to the world. What would you naturally do if you didn't have any other influence on you, right? But yeah, so that's why I say high D, right? Now you could have some of the other elements in there, like he's a relatively influential person, so I can make an argument for that. I can make an argument for some C characteristics as well. I don't think I'd make an argument for a lot of S characteristics, but anyway, I keep coming back to just that jumps in my mind immediately. So I think that's the right answer. But again, he's not going to take the test for me. Probably not. We're having coffee later
at the showroom. In your new truck.
I'm buying a Tesla. Yeah. All right. We're jumping around.
All right. But I'm going to jump around on another one here. Zuckerberg.
I think high C.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah. High DC. Because you
could be, again, working in a business, you might develop some other characteristics, like it'd be a little bit more of a driver over time. But I think probably starting out like as a young person at Harvard is probably a high C. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could go on forever. But
I want to try one more on you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me have it.
This one actually is a tough one. I can't decide. And so that's what I want to ask you. Michelle Obama. You're going to look it up on the internet right now, aren't you? It's one of the tougher ones for some reason.
For me, that one's tough because there's an element of like, I don't really, for as much as I know exactly who she is, and I'd fanboy out if she walked in the room right now. But I don't really know. There's this element of I start playing in my head like, well, how strong of a force was she behind getting Obama elected, right? To think that the wives are like just kind of the arm.
She's a tough one because I can actually argue all four quadrants for her.
She probably sits in all four.
Yeah, right? and so the reason I want to include that one is to make the point for our listeners, like there are going to be times where it's just really hard to figure out, right? Now I'm going to throw an easy one at you about Dwayne Johnson, the actor, The Rock.
Yeah, well, he's a DI, right? He's got to be an influencer.
I think he's an I with some D, a fair amount of D in there also. Yeah, that's much easier, right? But like Michelle Obama is like, and so sometimes you come across people where it's just like you cannot quite make this work. That happens, it's reality.
And I think some of this comes back to to know who the person is on the other side of the table or the person that you're pitching to. Like that's ideal. Oftentimes you won't know, or you may not have a lot of exposure to that person. And so there's a lot of techniques that you can do to kind of get around that, right? Like one of my big things is just when you start the meeting, like what's the most important thing you can get out of this meeting? I can sit here and do a 30-minute commercial about how awesome we are, but so will everybody else that comes in here. And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to waste your time. Yeah. They will, and their response will tell you exactly who they are. Right.
Another one we talk a lot about, we have a long podcast talking about, dinner and building relationships, getting to know people. Why do you do that? It's partially because you're trying to figure this out, right?
Right.
You're mostly trying to build trust, but partially you're trying to figure out this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think? How do you feel like you did on the test?
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get my license. I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't know. It might be removed. You're not authorized to practice account management after this. You're forbidden.
No, that's probably about right. That makes sense.
You'll never be in a client meeting again.
Ever again.
No.
I think, look, this is, I love this subject. I said at the beginning,
Yeah,
like it can be a little cheeky. It could be a little cliche. Like that's the way it can be treated, but it's not if you really look at it and leverage it for the tool that it is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tool. The problem with these tests in general is people tend to treat them like they're deterministic about someone's personality, and they're not. There's no human that can be summed up by one of these things. It's more about, to your point, their proclivities.
There are. Bless you. Stinker. All right. So I think that wraps it up. But look, there's a lot of tools. DISC is one of them. We're not endorsing. We're not endorsing.
No, we're not
tool,
paid
right?
spokespeople.
No, none of that. Go out there.
But there's free tests. You can go out there and take it.
Check it out. It's critical, and it's got to be part of your consideration if you're going to be in the account management game, if you're going to be in the sales game, if you're going to be in the leadership game. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's critical. Knowing the people that you're talking to, managing, working with, et cetera, et cetera. It's hyper important, and this is a great mechanism for understanding more about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, John, once again, absolute pleasure. Good to see you, my man. And we're going to work on the Hooded Falcon costume, yeah?
I'm coming up with your nickname next week.
Halloween's coming.
All right.
All right. For John Brown, Fred Fuller, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Learn more about the art and science of account management. Pick up A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management. Digital and print editions available at Amazon or your favorite bookseller. Fred and John would like to hear from you. Leave a comment for us on YouTube and head over to fuller-brown.com for more great content.